Alright, so I'm not going to need to do much work. As you can see already, the reflection coming off of the mask is because it came out damn good. So like always, I'll just be sanding it lightly just to get the paint roughed up so that the primer sits. The main thing about this video is probably going to be the dreadlocks, because I probably won't even have to fill anything in, because the seam where I'm going to be connecting at is going to be behind the mask. So I'll probably maybe have to use like a little bit of Bondo here just to hide everything up, but besides that, this print is going to come out looking great. I'll show you guys mainly the paint that I use. I'm going to try a new technique to pretty much make this helmet look weathered. So not like all silver, not all black, but like a good mix of the two. And then like I said, the main thing is going to be me showing you guys the dreads. But besides that, let's get to it. Alright, so as you can see, that's all sanded down now. It took me all about 25 minutes. It didn't take that long. It was all done with 180 sand grit paper. I use 60 under the eyes. So I usually go a little rougher first, just to break down all that crunch that was under there. And then from there, I'll work it down. So I went from 60 to 120 to 180 to 220. So you just want to use the 60 just to get all that crust down. If you watch my how to sand rough PLA prints, I'll break it down a lot more in depth in there for you. But that's pretty much all I did, was just a higher grit and then work my way down. And then on the rest of the shield, everything was just done at 180. So what I'll do now is attach them and then prime them. And then after I prime them, I'm pretty much just going to be wet sanding from there. So I won't need the regular sandpaper. I have this 400 grit wet sandpaper that I'm going to use from there, again, because it doesn't need that much work. If I see any gaps or dents, then I'll use the regular sandpaper. But from now or from here, the wet sandpaper will get it done, and it's going to get it extra smooth, which is what I want, because this is for somebody. This is not just mine. So on to the next step. Alright, so I might have done something counterproductive, but we'll find out. Just trying something new. After I sand everything, I always rinse it off. So I rinsed everything off, and then from there, these just got hit with the 400 grit wet sandpaper, and it is very smooth. So I'll see what happens with that once I hit it with the primer. But before I prime, I always want to do all my connections first. That way I'll see any lines that I have to fill or anything like that, and get that done before the primer, and then put the primer over that and then sand. So what I'm going to do now is just, as always, use my soldering iron. Again, if you don't have these or don't know how to PLA weld, you can always just use super glue. But again, I don't like to use super glue. This is going to a young kid, so he'll probably be playing with it, probably wear it for Halloween outside. That glue could reactivate due to heat, anything else like that, and cause that to start to slip, start to go back to a liquid state. So I just trust the PLA welding a little bit more. Now you can do the two. But if you do the two, that's why I got my goggles, because you don't want that super glue to get in your eyes as the soldering iron is hot. And then just to hold everything together, as you see, I only have two hands. I'll just be using some tape, either some duct tape or some painter's tape. Now with the painter's tape, if you have the painter's tape and everything is lined up, you can weld through that. I don't like to do it with the duct tape, because it's a lot thicker adhesive, and it probably gives off bad fumes. But with the painter's tape, you're pretty much good from there. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright, and from here, I have the duct tape on the sides. I'm not gonna move this because I kind of got in a line, but hey, whatever. That just shows you that the duct tape is pretty much holding it in place. What you want to do is just make sure all your interior lines are matching. So this one is the best to show you, like something like this. You want to make sure that that's perfectly aligned. That little gap I'm obviously going to close up as I do so. But you just want to make sure everything on the inside looks right and sealed together. Because the worst thing is, once you PLA weld this, that's it. So you don't want to get that glued on there or PLA welded there together and then notice that it's a little crooked. So if you have somebody to help you, grab some extra pair of hands. I'm just used to doing stuff solo dolo. I just figure it out. But yeah, if you need a little bit of help, definitely grab an extra pair of hands. Have somebody hold something for you. If they need goggles and gloves, make sure you have an extra pair. But now from here, all I'm going to do is weld the parts together. All right, so I got that all assembled. And on the inside, I went a lot thicker. Again, this is for a young man, so I don't want this to come apart. But now it's all finally one piece and it's looking great. So now what I'm about to do is just take a little bit of Bondo and just hide this line here. And then fill a primer and then start to go to work from there with the different spray paints, the dreads, the whole nine. Here comes the fun stuff, and I got some window tint too for the eyeballs. Let's go, let's go. All right, so these are the this is the gloss black that I'm gonna hit the whole helmet with first. I say it in all of my videos, and if you're ever trying to get like a shiny silver, you first want to start off with the gloss black. So this is the gloss black that I'll start off with. And then this is the metallic finish that I'm going to end with. So pretty much what I'm going to do is just use some kind of sponge and like dab it in on the mask with this, so that way I get like that weathered effect. Now you can use a dry brush and get the same effect, so I'll try out both. So I'll probably use the sponge on the top half, and then on the faceplate I'll use the dry brush. And then for the dreads, this is 5/8. It's called backer rod. Just some foam, pretty much. It's a cylinder, and it looks like a dread. I'm just gonna have to spray paint this. Not with the gloss black. I have a metallic black that I'll use, or a matte black, satin black actually. So it's a little bit more stiff. I'll spray onto that. And then I found these like little couplings in Home Depot. All of this stuff was pretty much from Home Depot. These I'm just gonna sand down because they're more like a brass color, and I want more of a gold. These were like 50 something cents. This was like $3, and spray paint's always like $2-3. I'm in mass, so your prices may differ, but that's pretty much what I'm gonna do and assemble to get this looking right. So as you can see, the Bondo's already stiffened. So now I just ran out to the store to get these things. So now that I'm back, I'm gonna sand this all down, prime it, and then get ready to add the final touches. All right, so this one is just about done. So I got the primer on there. Just gonna have to sand it down a little bit after that. I got my little fake dreadlocks that I'm about to cut up. This is just some backer rod, and then I got some like gold clips to go on there too. But this is coming along great. I can't wait to. Oh man, this is gonna be dope. All right, so if you've seen my lightsaber video. For Kuei Jin's lightsaber, this is the same black that I use for the base of his lightsaber. So this is just what I'm going to hit. I use Inland PLA Plus. So all I do is just like take the cover of the box off, just rip that off, and then put some duct tape on there. And that's what's going to hold these together as I spray. Anything that I miss while it's on the helmet's mainly going to be black, so I can just spray that on there again. But we're going to see how this works out. And then after that, I'm just going to quickly sand these down. Again, they have like a goldish look, but it's more like kind of copper in person than it is on camera. So I'm just going to sand these down a bit, rough them up, and then spray some of my gold spray paint on there. Stay tuned. And that came out great. All I pretty much have to All I pretty much have to do is just melt the tips. So I'll probably just use a lighter or something like that to round the tips off, or I might just leave them like that. They don't look too bad. And go ahead and attach these on now. Reason I'm attaching them on now is so I can see like if there's any gray showing that's still showing. And then I'll spray paint the whole helmet again black with the for a second coat. Some people I've seen like use like a fitted cap. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm just going to glue these straight to the helmet itself. Let's get to it. All right, so the black spray paint is dried. So got the dreads on. Now what I'm going to do is pretty much dry brush. So I'm going to take this big paintbrush right here. I'm not going to wet it. I'm just going to spray some of this metal spray paint, so it's metallic. Just going to spray that on like a little piece of paper and just pretty much lightly brush this. So the same effect is like dabbing. If you were to like dab like some furniture or like a duster, that's essentially about the amount of pressure I'm going to be adding with the paintbrush, just to give this that chrome kind of finish but weathered look as well. I don't want to spray paint it fully silver. I could spray paint it fully silver and then use some sandpaper to scratch it down, but I think I'll get a lot more efficient with this, getting in like the little crevices, everything like that. So stay tuned, I'll show you what that looks like. And I'm just going to finish off with this 5% window tint. This you can get at like AutoZone, anything like that.